Hey everybody, and welcome to Things on My Head. I'm Angel, your host. I was going to talk to you guys all about Pinterest. I had a show all lined up for you. I was going to talk to you about the fails and the triumphs and what Pinterest is going through right now, because they're going through a little bit of a change. But we're going to hold that show off for a couple of weeks. And here's the reason why. Because all this week, trying to prepare for this show, it's like Murphy himself has been following me around. You know, Murphy, what could go wrong will go wrong. I think that he's been backpacking on me here this week because every time I have tried to do something for the show, something else has come up. And one of the things that came up has been a wedding. And it was kind of a fast, impromptu type thing that came up within the last month that I was going to be in this wedding. And I want to talk to you about the wedding. I want to talk to you about my day yesterday. So after the commercial break, we're going to do a little bit of ranting if you haven't figured that out yet. But we're going to talk about our day. We're going to talk about our week and tell you what all's been happening. We're going to tell you about some happenings that are going on in the month of March coming up. So don't go away. We'll be back right after this.
Bridgeport Lake Bed and Breakfast outside Dallas, Texas can give you the perfect intermission of warmth and lake activities. From the long stem chocolate rose on your pillow at check-in to the made-to-order breakfast each morning, you'll leave your stress behind and immerse yourself in unparalleled Texas hospitality. Bridgeport Lake Bed and Breakfast. For reservations, call 940-644-0081 or visit us on the internet at www.bridgeportlakebnb.com.
Hey, we're back. So today is going to be a short show for a couple of reasons. One is I've got to get ready for this wedding to go to tomorrow, and I've got a lot of things that I need to do that. And I want to talk to you for a second about this wedding. It's just really an interesting, golly, how do you put this? It's not your typical wedding, okay? And I don't mean that they're going to be holding it underwater or anything like that. It's going to be like your typical bride walks down the aisle wedding, you know, preacher and the whole 9 yards, singers and everything. What's unusual about this wedding is the couple themselves. Now, usually when you say somebody's getting married, you think of young couples starting out and they're going to buy their first place and it's going to be wonderful. They're going to start a family and here's this whole new life beginning right there in front of your eyes. Not the case. This is not a reissuing of vows or whatever they call that. This is someone getting married to each other for the first time. This couple, they are in their 70s. Okay. What happened is about a year and a half ago or so, they met and they just really started hanging out together and really started enjoying each other's company and just found that they were together all the time anyway. So here we are a year and a half later and voila, they're getting married. What is so cool about this is that it's not the first marriage for either one of them, obviously, but they've both been single for a very long time and wanting to share their lives together is just, you know, a commitment that they've made to each other. And it's just so awesome that at this age and this stage in their life, they've decided that, you know what, love conquers all and they're going to get married and they're going to live as husband and wife. Now, they could very, very easily do what a lot of couples at their age do and just cohabitate, not worry about the pensions combining or losing out on the Social Security checks or things like that, because that happens when you get married. Your income doubles and all of that. And so the government takes that into consideration and you may lose some money in that case. But they didn't even bother with that. They don't even care about that. What they care about is that they are so deeply in love with each other. And watching this couple over the last year it's kind of been fun because they're just like any school kids together. They're just like a little 20-year-old couple getting married for the first time. They have stars in their eyes every time they look at each other. They're always holding hands at the dinner table and making little jokes with one another and giving each other these little knowing looks like, haha, that's an inside joke. Don't you get that one? And, you know, it's just really cool. Lorna is the bride and she's been planning this wedding for the last month. They've known about it for the last 3 months. But for the last month, she kind of got serious about it. We live in a little gated community and she's invited everybody in the community to go and we're going to have it at the community center. So it makes it really easy. Everybody here in the community is involved in helping her with her wedding in some way or another. They're either a guest, they're either in the wedding, or they're helping her plan the wedding. They're helping her set up for the wedding. They're helping her decorate. I am singing at the wedding. I'm very, very happy about that. You know, just seeing the sense of community that has happened since she has announced this, that she wanted to have it here. It's just been really encouraging to me and it's just been really uplifting to see a community come together for something like this, because this is, you know, like I said, it's so unusual that you will find a couple at this age getting married in the first place, but then to have a whole community just just band together and say, okay, we're going to work as a family, we're going to work as one, and we're going to make it happen. And it's just been really, really awesome doing that. And I got to tell you too, what's really cool about this is that there's another couple in the community that has decided, because they're getting married, the first couple's getting married, that, hey, they can do it too. They've been in love for a little while and they haven't told anybody, and all of a sudden now they're engaged and they're going to be getting married. So we're actually going to have another wedding around here, and they're not quite, in their 70s, but they're not in their 20s. I mean, these people are in their 50s and 60s, and they're deciding that, hey, you know what? Life doesn't end there. Life can just begin right there. And so I just wanted to throw out those encouraging words to you guys and let you know that it doesn't matter what stage of life that you're in. You can begin your life. If you have overcome a lot of adversity up till this point and you're like, I'm done, I'm over it, I just want to give up, don't give up, because there is just so much more to come, and you just never know what life is going to throw at you. And really, that brings me to what happened the other day. Now, I was supposed to have the show ready and, on the desktop and editing it today. As it turned out, we're recording today, so might be a little bit late coming up on Saturday, but that's okay. But what happened was I had to go and get an outfit for the wedding. Hopped in my car. Now, you got to understand something about me. I really don't drive a lot of places. When I go somewhere, I go with my husband. It's just a thing with me. I just don't like to go by myself, and I just really don't have any place I need to go by myself. As it turned out, he had to work, and so I decided, well, I'm going to save some time and I'm going to go and get an outfit for the wedding. I decided to check out a little resale shop. I got 3/4 of the way. Now, you got to understand, this resale shop, I live in the country, so this resale shop was probably about 7 miles away, 8 miles away. So I get in my car and I drive down. I probably got about 5 miles. I am like literally within earshot of this place, and I hear this awful squealing. I'm stopped at a light and I hear this really awful squealing. Actually, I thought it was the car behind me, because you're stopped at a light and I had the windows down. It was a nice day, and this SUV pulled up behind me, and I was thinking, wow, his engine really sounds bad. So anyways, we turned the corner and I realized it wasn't the SUV squealing, that was moi. Yeah, so my little car is like squealing, and the only thing that I can describe this sound as was when you have a jackrabbit in a cage. I mean, it was just this awful, awful squeal. Anyways, so I go around the corner. I'm like, please God, don't let my car blow up. And I start noticing this smoke coming out from under the hood. And I'm thinking, oh Lord, please don't let my car blow up. Which, by the way, happens a lot if you have ever been to Texas. Cars catching on fire in the middle of the road. That happens a lot down here because of the heat and, the roads being asphalt and stuff like that. So I'm thinking, oh Lord, I've got a fire underneath my hood and I'm in traffic. I can't stop. There's no shoulder. There's nowhere to pull over. And I'm thinking, oh, I just got to get around the corner. So I went down a little bit further, and there was this, God bless her, there was this little old lady in front of me, and she was going all of about 10 miles an hour around this corner and had decided she was going into the gas station where I needed to go to park my car. There was a truck coming out, and she was coming in, and she was taking her sweet time, and I was like, okay, my car is dying and it's overheating and I don't know what to do. So I quickly maneuvered around her and the truck and just shot into the parking lot next door, which ended up being like a business supply shop or something like that. Little bitty, itty bitty parking lot. So I pulled in there, and right as I pulled in, my car died. And I'm kind of grateful for that, because I'm thinking, okay, like if the car died and there's no more smoke, then probably there's not a fire under the hood, right? But I'm not going to open the hood to find out at that moment. So I stop the car, I can put the brake on and everything, and I get out, and I'm kind of looking at it, standing off to the side, looking at it, just kind of waiting to see if it's going to explode or something. So I figure, okay, at this point it's not going to explode. So I pop the hood and find out that the serpentine belt, which is like the main belt that runs all of the pulleys and whatever, and the water pump and all that, and the brake and the steering and all of that, it broke. It's like shredded down on the bottom of the car, sitting down there where, where it's hard to grab. So anyways, luckily we have AAA. I'm thinking, okay, I am within a block of this store that I needed to go to find an outfit for my wedding. It's like going on 3 o'clock. I have a wedding rehearsal at 5 o'clock, and I have to call AAA. So what I decided to do, being the woman that I am, I go down the street a block and a half. Now, if you've ever tried to use GPS when you're walking, let me tell you, it's not the same as when you're driving. Because GPS, I don't know why, but it doesn't tell you, if you're going in the wrong direction, it doesn't tell you to turn around and go the opposite direction. So I start walking thinking that I'm going in the right direction, looking at the GPS, and all of a sudden the road changes on the GPS. address on the little map thing. And I'm thinking, good Lord, what happened? Now all of a sudden, and it's not telling me to turn around, but now all of a sudden I have no road, no guide to follow. And I'm thinking, okay, that's weird. Nothing from the GPS. GPS is saying nothing. I've got it on my iPhone. So I'm looking around and I know the address of this place. So I'm looking around and I figure out that I've gone a block and a half in the wrong direction walking. So I turn around and start heading back. And sure enough, when I turn around and I stop at the crosswalk, I look up and there's the sign of the place that I was supposed to be at down another block and a half in the opposite direction. So I'm thinking, stupid, if you had just looked up and saw the sign, you would have known, where you're supposed to be. Anyways, long story longer, I went down the street, passed my car again, and I thought, the guy in the business supply store is watching me, right? And he watched me walk one way and then turn around and walk the other way. And I'm thinking at this point, golly, I hope he doesn't think I'm a hooker. Walking the street back and forth. So anyways, I walk down there to the little store. I go in. I am covered in grease because by this time I had actually reached down and gotten the belt so that, it would be unjammed from all of the pulleys and everything. So I'm covered like my fingers to my elbows in grease now. And I'm wearing this kind of heavier shirt, and it's like gotten to be 70 degrees. When I started out that morning, it was only 60 something degrees. So the shirt was appropriate, but now I'm sweating. And I'm going to go and try on these clothes, and I'm like feeling really bad about it. But again, I've got 2 hours to get all this done. So I go in and I show my hands to the clerk there. She points me to the bathroom. I get the grease off my hands, and I go in, I'm taking a deep breath, and there's like 4 or 5 young women who are working in the store. And it was just kind of funny because one of them turned around and she looked at me, she goes, "Ma'am, are you all right?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I'm fine." I said, "It's just hot flashes." I was so embarrassed. Anyways, so I look and I find 3 outfits that I really like, and I can't decide between all 3. So I'm just going to blow the budget and I'm going to buy all 3. So I walk up to the counter, and by this time I'm still really like sweating, like not profusely, but like blowing, if you know what I mean. Anyways, and the lady at the counter says, "Ma'am, are you all right?" And I thought, golly, I must look like I'm having a heart attack to these women. But anyways, and so I told her what happened, that my car broke down and that I was, had to walk down here and stuff, and that I was going to have to go back and call AAA and get my car fixed and go to this wedding rehearsal. And she just was shaking her head and she said, "Well, when it rains, it pours." And I said, "Well, after that, I've got to go back and record my show because I still haven't done that today either." So I want to give a shout out to the sweet, sweet staff at Another Season in Waco, Texas. It's a little resale shop. It's over on Lake Air Drive. If you're in Waco or if you're around in the vicinity, please, please, please just take a look around their store. It's a fabulous store, and I absolutely intend on coming back and taking a really good look around that store. They've got Coach bags for like dirt cheap. Really nice, high-end, secondhand clothes. They do consignments. The girls are just so sweet over there and just really helpful. And there's enough staff in there to help anybody who needs help. And it's a huge store. It doesn't look like it from the outside when you first come up to it, but it's a huge store. So here's my shout out to the girls at Another Season in Waco, Texas. Thanks, ladies, for helping me out, for letting me just kind of vent a little bit and cool off in your store. I did go back to the car. I called AAA. Now, it's actually been quite a while since I've had a car towed. And so I'm thinking, I'm a single woman out here in the middle of nowhere who is trying to get her car towed. And here's this guy who shows up with a cigarette in his mouth. He's got tattoos from one end to the other and a scruffy beard, and kind of looked like he walked off the set of Duck Dynasty. And I'm thinking, oh Lord, what have I gotten myself into? So anyways, I'm thinking, no. I called AAA. It's going to be safe. It's going to be okay. So he gets my car up on the flat deck and we get in. And the first thing he says to me, he says, "You broke it." And I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "The car." He says, "You broke the car." And I started laughing and I said, "Yeah, really, I don't drive that often." And I said, "Yeah, I'm sure that's what my husband is going to think, is that, I gave her the keys one time and she broke the car." So anyways, we were cracking up the whole ride back to my house. He was just telling me stories about how sometimes, thieves and stuff will do the dumbest things. And I swear, he had me laughing so hard. on the way back. It just made my whole day. Here, it could have turned into such a bad day. And I could have walked into that rehearsal, that wedding rehearsal from this very special couple being, just really in a rotten mood and all sweaty and all of that. And by the way, I did barely make it to the rehearsal. I think I was like 5 minutes late. But, I could have just really, really blown it. And the people around me, between the girls at Another Season and my tow truck driver from Waco Towing, Mike, there's a shout out for him as well. They just really made my day. They made a difficult situation bearable and knew that, this is something that nobody likes to go through, but they don't have to go through it feeling bad or being in a bad mood, that there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, and you just have to find the end of the tunnel. You just have to find that light. And if you can do that and you can stay in a positive mood and you can just kind of see the humor in the whole thing, and know that I'm safe. I could have been in traffic on a busier road. My car could have been hit. It could have really been on fire, but it wasn't. And I looked at the positive, and I was actually really in a good mood. And by the time I got to the rehearsal, because the bride had called me when I was trying on clothes and I told her about what was going on, she's like, oh my gosh. So when I got to the rehearsal, she gave me a big hug. She goes, are you okay? I said, actually, surprisingly, I'm fine. I'm doing really good and I'm in a good mood. So we're good. Let's do this thing. And we had such a good time at the rehearsal, and everything just, started to flow after that. And I sat down that night and I was telling my husband about everything that went on. And I told him, I said, normally I think, especially because right now I'm going through menopause, and I ain't gonna lie, your emotions are everywhere. But this one time, at least, I was able to walk out of this situation all day the other day with dignity and just had a really good time with my car breaking down. And I've got pictures up on the website, up on the Facebook page if you guys want to see it. And I'll even post a picture up on the website, www.thingsinmyheadblog.com, if you want to see my car up on the tow truck. But yeah, it was a good day, but it was a bad situation turned good. And I just want to encourage everybody with that little story. I know it was a rant, it was a long rant, but it was just meant to encourage you guys and just turn your bad days into good days. Now, I do want to talk to you about what is happening in March. Next week, we are having Paul Dean. If you remember, he is our essential oils expert. He's from Rocky Mountain Oils, and he is going to come back next week, and he's going to talk to us about cleaning out the medicine cabinet. Everybody in March, when the snow starts to melt a little bit and the warm weather starts to come, everybody feels the need to start cleaning stuff out, getting the dirt out, and just getting, shaking the cobwebs off of stuff after the winter. And that's kind of what we're going to do. We're going to talk about cleaning out the medicine cabinet and maybe replacing some of those medicines and those over-the-counter drugs that we've been using all winter long for colds and flus and all of that. We're going to replace all of that with essential oils to get ourselves healthy this summer. That is our goal here at Things in My Head. We're going to get healthy. So I'm going to put the link of the last interview that we did with Paul on there, and it's a wealth of information. If you haven't heard it yet and you're interested in essential oils, even if you do essential oils, and I don't care what brand you do, that's not the point. The point is that there is so much misinformation out there. And Paul just really came in and told it like it was. And he could have come in and sold his product to us like crazy. I think I did more selling than he did because I really believe in their products. But we'll post a link there too on the website for Rocky Mountain Oils. You can check them out. Now, we're going to have a contest next week as well. And I wanted to let you know that we're going to be giving away stuff. So you have to listen to the show next week because we're going to be giving oily stuff away. So if you're interested in essential oils, next week is the show to listen to because you just might win a little prize. Okay, so that's next week. After that, a few things could happen. Now, I've got some irons in the fire, and depending on which iron heats up first is what's going to happen after that. But just to let you know, some of the irons that I have in the fire. One of them is we are going to be talking about breast cancer. Now, I know that this is not breast cancer month. However, breast cancer is one of those illnesses that has affected probably every family in some way, shape, or form. It has affected my family more than once. Someone very dear to me in my family recently went through chemotherapy, and we'll talk about all of that. We are going to be talking to her, and I think that that is such a triumph because someone who has just recently gone through all of this, to be able to talk about it and be able to talk about it to you, my listeners, means that she's willing to lay her life out there for you and just give you a little bit of insight as to what she's gone through. She is one of the strongest women, most positive women And she's very private. And when I asked her if she would be willing to do this, I was surprised that she said yes. I want you to listen to the shows. You got to stay on our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/thingsinmyheadblog. Go there and keep up with what's going on. Like our Facebook page, because I am going to post on there when we are going to be doing this interview with breast cancer survivors. And I'm hoping to have one other lady on. And I won't tell you who it is because I don't know. She hasn't said yes yet. She hasn't said no, but she hasn't said yes. But we will be talking about breast cancer, how to survive it, how to get through it, what to expect, and what's going on, emotions, and maybe even talk about how it affects family members as well. And the other thing that I wanted to let you know is that last week when we posted our last week on our podcast, we talked all about loving yourself, self-esteem, because it was all about February, the month of love, 50 ways to say I love you. And one of the ways that we wanted to let you know that you needed to say I love you is to love yourself. Well, when we did that, at the end of the show, I gave you a couple of role models. One was my sister, whom I love very dearly, and the other one was Carrie Lane, who is one of the contestants on this year's The Voice. She's on Team Adam. Now, and I said to you that she is actually from Alabama, and some of my family knows her family really well, and so there's kind of a little connection there. Anyways, I wanted to let you know that Carrie and I have been talking, and she wants to come on the show. Now, we are really trying to get her on this show. It's up to NBC at this point as to whether she's going to be allowed to be on the show or not. We will keep you posted. Now, if she can't come on the show, we do understand we're still going to root for Carrie on The Voice, and we're going to watch her every week as she goes into the battle rounds next. So I just wanted to throw that out there and let you know that there is a possibility that we are going to be talking with Carrie Lane very soon on the show. So again, you gotta like us on Facebook, facebook.com, Things in My Head blog. Like us on Facebook so that you will get our feed. And you know what? Here's the other thing. Every now and again, you're going to have to go to our page, or you're going to have to look in the feed, and you're going to have to like a post, whether it's just a random post or not. Facebook has changed their algorithms again, and they're not showing our feed to a lot of people who are on our page. We have 398 likes so far, I think, on our Facebook page, growing. But if you don't interact with our Facebook page, Facebook is not showing you our feed. So if you want to keep up with what's going on the show, then you've got to interact with us on Facebook. Just like a post, or, I don't know, just say hi every now and again or something like that. Just comment on a post. You don't even have to do that. But just, if you like a post or something like that, then you'll be interacting, and Facebook will show you exactly what is on our feed and the things that we post. Sometimes we post some random funny stuff, but we do keep people informed about our show and what's going on in the guests and when our show is going to be, because sometimes we have to postpone it a day. Now, that brings me to the last topic today, and that is that our show is now on Saturday. Yep, that's right. We've gone from Friday to Saturday, and the reason why is because the days are getting longer, but it seems like the work hours are getting shorter. The nicer the weather gets, the less you'll want to work. You know what I mean? So anyways, what happens is that we're kind of spreading things out during the week a little bit so that I'm not running ragged on Fridays, trying to get the show to you guys. I really want to put out a quality show for you guys. So Saturday, you don't have to listen to us on Saturday because, guys, the show is taped. So anytime from Saturday to the next Friday, you've got a show that you can listen to that's fresh, or you can always go back in the archives. All you have to do is go to www.thingsinmyheadblog.com. On the front page there, it says now showing on the podcast. Just keep scrolling down because every show that we've done is on that page. So if you are interested in finding a show, for example, about the essential oils, you can go back down the page and find that essential oils, or on the left-hand side, you'll see archives, and the shows will be listed there as well. The most important show we have done so far, in my opinion, is Sharing the Love with Yourself. So if you can go to our website, www.thingsinmyheadblog.com, and take a listen to at least that one show. It was amazing. We had our friend Heather Love on there, and just an amazing show about loving yourself and how to do that and how to recognize the signs of your teen going through problems of not loving themselves, low self-esteem, that sort of thing. So anyways, that's today's show. It was just a rant show. It was just to let you know what was going on coming up in the next little while. I've got a wedding to get ready for, guys. I love you guys. I just want you to know you are the best fans in the whole world. Come and visit us on Facebook, Twitter. You can use hashtag Things in My Head, and we'll get the tweets. If we see you and you want us to like you, just give a shout out and say, hey, I'm here, like me, and we'll find you. All right, so that's today's show. Next week, again, Paul Dean. We're going to be talking about essential oils and cleaning out the medicine cabinet. Until then, have a great day, everybody.